Hello and welcome to this edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Brenda Mahoney, in for Michelle Marino.
At Arlington Public News, we bring you stories of interest to Arlington and surrounding communities. In tonight's newscast, we hear from police on the latest surrounding a recent double shooting in town. We speak to an Arlington resident who just returned from her native Nepal to provide earthquake relief.
And we tell you about two separate foundations that celebrate the lives of two special individuals. Plus, summer safety tips to keep in mind as you enjoy all of those outdoor activities this season. That and more. Stay with us.
Police are addressing the homeless population living around Thorndike Field after a double shooting there last week. APN's Erin Dixon spoke to Arlington Police Chief Fred Ryan to learn more about what happened and where the police department will go from here.
I'm Erin Dixon here at the Arlington Police Department with Police Chief Fred Ryan. Chief Ryan, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, could you tell me what happened last Friday night and where we're at from here?
Right, so there was a shooting in the Thorndike Field area, and our investigation has demonstrated that two homeless men approached two other men in an automobile, and as a result of the interaction, a shooting occurred. We're trying to iron out and figure out exactly what occurred, and that investigation is ongoing. But we've turned our focus now at sort of dealing with the homelessness issue in and around Thorndike Field and the Alewife area.
And now, have you seen incidences like this recently occurred in other communities?
No, this is really an out-of-the-ordinary incident, and again, we're still in the fact-finding stage and investigating exactly what occurred.
And now, do you think that this is a one-time thing, or this could become a pattern in Arlington?
Well, we don't expect it'll become a pattern, but clearly an incident like this results in fear, and we have obviously we have the responsibility of investigating the criminal act that occurred, but also dealing with the fear that results from it. So we're working with the neighborhood in East Arlington and taking some measures to ensure that people feel safe as they commute on the bikeway to and from Alewife and the greater area.
Great. So will any additional patrols be added, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're adding patrols, obviously, but we're also engaging those homeless folks in some dialogue, trying to get them some services. Some are veterans, so we've involved veteran services and social services. Homelessness, one of the challenges we've had is a lot of folks have called and said, get those homeless people out of there. Well, being homeless is not a crime. Now, like non-homeless people, some homeless people do commit crimes. But simply being homeless is not a criminal act. So we're trying to deal with these folks by getting them some services and ensuring their safety as well.
And now, who are you working with?
Right. So our Department of Health and Human Services, Arlington Public Works, our legal department, police department, fire department, as well as officials from Cambridge, so that we can have sort of a robust response to the situation.
Great. And now, were these two gentlemen known to the police, or?
Well, they both had criminal histories. They weren't known personally to the Arlington police, but they both had involvement in the criminal justice system.
On behalf of the Arlington Police Department and for Arlington Public News, I'm Erin Dixon.
Town officials are asking for more time to review a proposed housing complex on the Mugar property. Developers of the open land along Route 2 and Lake Street submitted an application for site approval to Mass Housing. The town would normally have 30 days to review the proposal, but in this case is asking for 90. The town is doing an inventory of its housing stock to see if there is enough affordable housing to bypass the state's 40B law that the project would fall under. Town officials and the state delegation are uniformly against the 7-acre project due to flooding and traffic concerns. The town has retained a lawyer with particular expertise in this area. He told selectmen at their June 8th meeting that they should be hiring experts and use their state reps to help them do all they can to fight the project.
The town has a lot of resiliency and a lot of power to push back on applications that don't meet what the town sees as its vision based on plans and logical engineering practice. All is not lost. 40B is a very difficult statute for cities and towns to work with, but cities and towns have been successful. And until the statute is reformed, Cities and towns are going to have to take this one project at a time approach, and that's really what's right before you now, front and center.
Once the town gives input to mass housing, the state will then likely approve the site eligibility request. That'll send it to Arlington's Board of Appeals, which can approve or deny all relevant local permits after public hearings. Developers would then be able to appeal to the state if denied a permit.
Just 5 days after the April 25th 7.8 magnitude earthquake, Shamisha Lemire, an Arlington resident originally from Nepal, went back to her native country to help her family and the earthquake's victims with emergency relief. She came into our studio to tell us about her experience and how Arlington and the world can provide help to Nepal.
This past April, Nepal was rocked by a series of earthquakes. Shamisha Lemire, an Arlington resident who is Nepalese, returned to help her family and earthquake victims with emergency relief. Shamisha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been almost a month. What is the situation on the ground?
Because of the nature of geography in Nepal and the roads being washed away by landslides, the government and the volunteers are still trying to get rebuilding materials like tin roofs, still doing some food drops, medical drops, and we have a very small window. What's going to happen in a matter of couple weeks is we're going to have the monsoon rain. And the monsoon rain is kind of like how we Bostonians, Arlingtonians, we brace for the winter. We start, taking care of our roofs to everything. In Nepal, most people are farmers outside of Kathmandu. They don't have insurance. They don't have a solid infrastructure to rely back on.
What can people do to help Nepal?
Help anybody who you are in touch with. Help, donate to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund. I'm only focused in Gorkha. I really don't know much about other places, but our need is to get tin roofs up there. Our need is to get mosquito nets up there. Our need is to get any rebuilding supplies there. So, and even though we are at a higher altitude, we're still in the tropical zone. We are just 20, 30 degrees north of the equator. So it is very, very hot right now. And the way to help is to find an organization that directly works with people. We all are run by volunteers. I'm not getting paid. I have personally paid a big part of the mission myself. And we have people like Pasang, Max, Dr. Neil Pandey, who are taking supplies directly to the people. So I think the way to help Nepal is to not forget Nepal.
What's your future plan for Nepal?
Right now, the next 3 weeks, we are doing a big campaign for mosquito nets. And people need to understand that mosquitoes are annoying. I still have mosquito bites. We need to save children from malaria. And those kind of mosquito nets can be reused again and again. So it's not a one-use item.
Congratulations on your work, and thank you so much for your time, Shamisha.
Thank you.
On behalf of Shamisha Lemire, the Nepalese community, and Arlington Public News, this is Yawa Digboe.
Really amazing stories that Shamisha Lemire came back with from Nepal, including one of them is that she flew with a helicopter pilot who then later unfortunately passed away in a crash there a couple of weeks ago. So still a lot of work that needs to be helped out with there in Nepal.
It's really a tragic story, to be sure, but it's amazing and wonderful that she's doing everything she can from here to help her countrymen.
The Michaela Fund is on a mission to prevent teen suicide. The fund was established after 15-year-old Michaela Guerriero committed suicide in 2012. The fund enables teens and their parents to help prevent teen suicide through public awareness and education. It also trains middle and high school staff on the SOS, Signs of Suicide program. The fund also offers financial assistance to Massachusetts high school athletes in paying their sports fees. Several generations of Michaela's family grew up and still live in Arlington. APN's James Milan has more from the family.
Hello and welcome. I'm here today with Tim and Kelly Guerriero from Abington, Mass. And we're here to talk today about the Michaela Fund. Tim and Kelly lost their daughter to suicide, their daughter Michaela to suicide 2.5 years ago. But they have turned their grief into productive means, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So Kelly and Tim, thanks so much,
Thank you so much
for
having
coming
us.
in.
Thank you.
Appreciate your being here very much. Could we start off just by you giving us a sense of who and how Michaela was?
Well, she was beautiful, spunky, spirited. She loves her friends, were her whole world, friends and family. She loved sports, basketball and lacrosse, and she did cheerleading. And you know, everyone loved her, and that's not usually what you associate suicide with.
I can see, looking at the Michaela Fund banner there, that there seem to be two aspects of the way that the fund's used. So I can see that suicide awareness is one piece of what you guys are tackling now. What form is that taking?
Well, we have suicide awareness. We partnered with Screening for Mental Health out of Wellesley. They're a group that goes out to the different schools and provides materials on screening signs of suicide, which includes screening of students in the school to go through what they're going through. We also go through, you know, class participation and a class curriculum on suicide itself. So you have sexual education, you have drugs education, you have alcohol education. We're trying to get suicide awareness into the schools.
And then there is that second piece, which has to do with scholarships for those who play sports. Can you tell us both a little bit where that came from as an idea?
Well, the main idea came to me that day. For, you know, one of the things that bothered Michaela was we never had enough money. Even though we did, but we always, as teenagers, we try to keep the limit of spending down with them so they don't think that they can have everything. If kids need help with fees for playing sports or the equipment that they need, that we would want to provide them if they need help. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really based on financial ability. We do have the kids write a short essay about, let's see, what was it last year? How playing sports
Raise the self-esteem.
raise your self-esteem. Because that's what, you know, sports is a team and you have teammates, and usually your trusted adult is your coach or your guidance counselor or whatnot. And we just want to make sure that every kid who wants to play a sport is able to.
Can you let us know if people are interested in contributing and donating to the fund? How would they do that?
You can go directly onto our website, which is the Michaela Fund, which is MAKAYLA, fund.org. There's an area to donate. And of course, our big fundraiser is coming up on September 26th. There's information on that on the website. Anything you need to know about the fund is on the website.
For Arlington Public News and Arlington Community Media, I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us.
Sammy Dari was a lifelong resident of Arlington who taught Spanish at Arlington High School and coached the varsity boys soccer team in Lexington. Arlington Public News spoke with Sammy's parents and former students to celebrate Sammy's spirit and his impact on the local community. Sammy's parents, Monsef Eldari and Francine Brasseur, have established a foundation in Sammy's honor. The Sammy Eldari Foundation is holding its first annual 4vs4 soccer tournament and fundraiser on Friday, June 12th. To remember Sammy and to spread his passion for soccer.
Sammy Eldari was a popular Spanish teacher in Arlington and soccer coach in Lexington who passed away in June 2014. APN spoke with Sammy's parents and former students to remember and celebrate his spirit and his impact on the local community.
Sammy was an extremely talented young man. He was funny, he loved life. I mean, he was life. And he passed on his enthusiasm and his love for life to anybody who came in contact with him.
Sammy never bragged. He never thought about himself. He always thought about others, and he always wanted to help others.
He had a tremendous impact on his students. He was a Spanish teacher in Arlington and a soccer coach. He was a soccer coach in Lexington.
Mr. E, Sammy was my freshman year, Spanish teacher, and probably the best Spanish teacher I've ever had in Arlington High School.
I met Sammy my freshman year in high school, and he was my Spanish teacher, and we instantly connected for our love of soccer.
His influence on everybody was amazing. I mean, I think he came in people's life very much like a ray of sunshine. He always had a smile on his face, no matter what.
Sammy was one of those one-of-a-kind people you meet in your life where they're just 100% genuinely nice. I can't think of one time when I ever saw him sad or mad or...
He was always happy, and it made everyone around him happy, and his view on life just rubbed off on everyone. Like, he was just an amazing guy.
The foundation was created in his full spirit. We thought that what he did had to be continued.
And it keeps his name alive, and people will remember him forever, thanks to the foundation. And so what we are doing with the foundation, we are raising funds so we can actually give scholarships to talented athletes who are going on to college, so we can help them out. The students all said that he taught them way more than Spanish. But I also think that they brought him a lot of joy, and they inspired him too, because somehow every day it was easy for him to get up and go and meet them again, because he knew he was going to have a great time with them.
Truly cared about every single one of his students and everyone he met, and it's just something that's hard to find, and it's even harder to miss now that he's gone.
It was just like, he's one of the best, and it's really sad that he's gone now because I used to talk to him a lot after school.
Soccer not only taught his players to play well in soccer, to be good soccer players, but also enjoy themselves. That was something that the players always repeated every time they had an opportunity. They never had a coach like Sammy.
For more information about the Sammy Dari Foundation and its events, visit www.sammyiladari.org. For Arlington Public News, I'm Carrie Bresnahan.
Some of Sammy's former students are graduating now, and we want to congratulate this year's class of 2015. We have some highlights from Arlington High School's recent graduation ceremonies. Some 300 students received their diplomas at Pierce Field on Saturday, June 6th. Be sure to catch the entire commencement on our public channel and at ACMi.tv.
It's a particularly special day for your parents who proudly look on and marvel at how quickly the years have gone by.
Congratulations to the class of 2015 on your accomplishments.
I'd like to send off the class of 2015 the only way I see fit, on a roller coaster. Climb aboard, everybody, let's go! You got it, bud.
You guys ready? Yeah. Let's drop in! We're going up! We're up! We're this way! We're this way! We're this way! We're all around! Good job, everybody!
Congratulations to the class of 2015!
Boy, I wish we did that roller coaster thing when I graduated. We didn't do anything like that. We'd like to congratulate all the area high schools on their graduation this month as well.
Certainly, Minutemen and Arlington Catholic and everyone in the area.
Absolutely. Young People's Success Series is a life management program designed to give young men the necessary skills to build successful lives. On May 9th, YPSS held its annual Mothers Day Breakfast at the Reggie Lewis Center. The featured speaker was Stephen Rogers, professor of business management at Harvard Business School. News producer Michael Armanius was at the event and brings you highlights from Professor Rogers' speech.
My friends, I do not have a police record, and while I played football in college, I never earned any money as an athlete. I never earned any money as an entertainer. I've never earned money as a drug dealer. And what I'm saying to you is, I am the opposite of the stereotype of the black male. But I'm most proud of the fact that my daughters and I, that we're philanthropists. We believe that we have been blessed, and so many people have helped me through my life by giving and being selfless, that I know that that's my responsibility to give back. Where you came from, my friends, does not have to determine where you are going. Every one of you in this room, every single one of you in this room have greatness in you. You're the 3 B's. You're beautiful, you're black, and you're brilliant. Embrace that fact, my brothers and sisters. My advice to you is, first of all, you absolutely must get your high school degree. We know if you get your high school degree, your chances of going to prison are significantly dropped. Not only must you get your high school degree, but you then must go on to college. Education can change your life and help break the cycle of poverty. Just because you come from an impoverished world does not mean that that is guaranteed to be in your future. Tell your child that you love him. Tell your child that you love her. Tell your child that he is beautiful, that he's handsome. Tell your daughter that she's beautiful. I don't care how old they are. I don't care how uncomfortable you are. My parents never told me that they loved me. They never were taught to do that. But I had to go by faith to realize that they did. But let's break that cycle. Let's break that cycle and be overt with our love for each other. In closing, in 70 years, everybody in this room will likely pass away. And many of us, and all of us in that time, we will meet our slave ancestors who will ask, what did you do to help our people while you were free? What did you do to help our people while you were free? In response, I want every single one of you young brothers to say, I graduated from 8th grade. I graduated from high school. I graduated from college. I got married. I had children. I became a highly paid businessman. I became a policeman. I became a teacher. I became the owner of a company. I became an attorney. For you beautiful black women here in the audience, I want you to say, I too became a highly paid attorney. I became an asset manager. I became the CEO of a Fortune 500 company like my good sister Ursula Burns, who's a black woman and the CEO of Xerox. I want you to say, I also helped the black community by being all that I could be. I helped the black community by becoming a positive role model. And I helped the black community by proudly wearing my crown on the top of my head like the Nubian queen that I am. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Our series After 8 focuses on food and entertainment in and around Arlington. In our latest segment, we visit a Mexican restaurant known for its authentic fare. Ixtapa is a family-run business with a handful of locations, one just over the line in Lexington that APN news producer Yawa Degbo recently visited.
Hi, I'm Sin, and welcome to After 8. We're at Ixtapa in East Lexington.
Ixtapa is a Mexican food restaurant. We are family owned and operated. Roots are from Guadalajara, Mexico. And we've been here 9 years in Lexington, serving great Mexican food. Our specialty items would have to be fajitas, carne asada, and our enchiladas. They're very good. We have different sauces for the enchiladas. People really like them. Margaritas are great. We have a function room that's downstairs, holds up to 40 people. We have that room, for when it gets really busy. We have people sit down there, but normally we use it too for events. If you come to have dinner here or lunch, you can expect good food, good service, good drinks, nice atmosphere. Thursday nights you can expect live music.
I definitely wanted to come back and check it out.
¿Qué has hecho de mi pobre flor? ¿Qué has hecho? I thank you very much.
The food's delicious. I grew up in Los Angeles, so it's hard to find authentic Mexican food anywhere. And this place serves authentic Mexican, so.
Do you like this restaurant?
Yeah. I've heard the reviews online. When searching around, it was pretty good. I said it was pretty good. I tried it out. I'm not disappointed.
For Arlington Public News, I'm Sin.
Thank you!
Students will soon be out for the summer. Pools will be opening and temperatures will be on the rise. To ensure that you and your family enjoy a healthy, relaxing summer, APN's Erin Dixon spoke with a paramedic at Armstrong Ambulance to get some basic summer safety tips.
I'm Erin Dixon here with Victor Marchese of Armstrong Ambulance. Victor, thank you so much for talking to us today.
You're welcome. I'm a field operation manager for Armstrong Ambulance, and I also currently work as a paramedic. So I've been a paramedic now with Armstrong for my 21st year and 22 with the company right now.
Now tell us, what are some of the most common problems that people face during the summer?
Well, obviously during the summer months, the biggest concern is the heat. The first thing you think about is when you think about heat, one is heat stroke. Especially if you're exposed outside for a long duration time with the heat, some signs and symptoms of heat stroke. Other problems you can help into is difficulty breathing, especially now with the high pollen count. People with season allergies, that's another concern too, is difficulty breathing. Pool safety. Remember, kids always have to be under supervision. Make sure you have a swim buddy. It's a swim buddy that knows how to swim. If you other things too, if pools are unattended, make sure they're locked. If there are any pool ladders, make sure you put them up in a way. Make sure the pool is secured. But the biggest thing is make sure there's a pool buddy. Make sure that somebody there knows how to swim. Especially to supervise the kids that are going to be in the pool. Just don't leave anybody unattended in the pool.
So over the summer months, do you find yourself more busy, out on calls more often?
Actually, we do. Now with the summer months, the biggest thing that we find is more the elderly, especially the populations that we service, the elderly, more the difficulty breathing types of situations. So people get themselves in situations with the heat, and they can't avoid certain things, especially if they don't have air conditioning. There's a lot of public buildings out there that too is if you have a problem with not getting an air condition, use a public building. Usually go into an air conditioned facility, stores, malls, something like that. If you don't have air conditioning, if you can go there and try to keep yourself cool. But the biggest thing is to remember rehydration. Just drink plenty of water during the summer months. Biggest do's and don'ts, especially with the heat. If you plan on exercising, think about when you're going to exercise. Do it in the early mornings, maybe late at night, not during the midday when the sun's the hottest. If you are going to exercise, remember hydration. Dehydration is a big thing. If people don't drink a lot of water, then we have to worry about people dehydrating themselves. If you just think about just maybe having a glass before you exercise, after you exercise, drink plenty of water during the summer months.
So what about safety for kids and pets?
Biggest thing for pets, especially when it gets hot, if you bring your pet along with you in vehicles, make sure if you're going to leave your pet in a vehicle, leave the windows open so they have some air to breathe. Another thing too, if you have kids in the back seat, make sure you look back. Don't forget your kid in the back seat because it gets really, really hot quick in vehicles too during these summer hot months. Especially temperatures can exceed over 100 degrees. That can be deadly for a child that's been left in a vehicle unattended for long periods of time. When to call 911, especially if you get into situations that you feel that you're having trouble breathing, you can't handle it, or you have medications at home that aren't able to cure what you have, call 911. Bee stings, if you know you're allergic to bees and if you have an EpiPen available, if you think you have an allergic reaction come out, call 911. Especially with pools, if you see somebody with a near drowning, call 911. Obviously, if you have any concerns, always call 911.
On behalf of Armstrong Ambulance and for Arlington Public News, I'm Erin Dixon.
Well, certainly some good summer safety tips in there. And did you see the dog lapping the water? He's like trying to almost take a bath in there. I'd like to do that right about now as it heats up.
So would I. As hopefully you've noticed, Brenda and I are dressed for the summer to get in the mood.
We didn't plan that either.
No, we're in the mood, and we hope you're in the mood too after this long winter we've had.
That's right. Well, Arlington Public News is a production of Arlington Community Media and functions as a gateway for local participation in issues and events of interest to the community.
Check out our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv and like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Join us next time for another edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Brenda Mahoney. See you next time.